We are not going to escape stress. We are not going to escape trauma. We are not going to escape accidents. We're not going to escape injuries. All of us at some point or another are going to have to go through things that are challenging. Here are my top 3 ways to rewire your brain for peace, calm, purpose, presence, and performance. So I'm Dr. Alain. Let's go. This channel exists to empower families to create awesome health so you can naturally access performance, purpose, and presence for a lifetime. Let's be real, life can be hard. Pain, stress, anxiety, worry. I mean, we're living with unprecedented levels of that these days. A common comment from so many of my clients when we first started working with them is that they've been dealing with their pain, their problem for so long that they've just resigned themselves to think, well, this is just the way it is. They begin to believe that they'll always just live with it at some level. They begin to see their bodies as these machines that are just breaking down, and short of getting new parts, that it's just the way that they're built. And if this is you, I totally understand the feeling. Now, have you considered that you can be better? Your body's ability to heal is far greater than anybody has ever allowed you to believe. And it all starts with this process we call neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change and adapt and respond to new experiences, new stimuli, new inputs. It can actually rewire itself. And consider that you are the product of what you do every day, the actions you take, the thoughts that you think. I mean, it's been said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting a different result. So if we want a different experience in life, we're gonna have to start to reframe the way that we see the common things that we do every day, and maybe make some tweaks. And this is where these 3 strategies come into play. So these are my favorite strategies. These are things that I actually utilize myself on a daily basis, as well as things that I coach and work with our clients with to create awesome health and an awesome life. Since so many people are stuck in this fight or flight loop, I mean, your brain begins to perceive any stress as danger. I mean, we need to really break those habits and those patterns to rewire the brain to thrive actually through the day, as opposed to just cower and get stuck in survival. So number 1 is to do challenging things deliberately. I mean, so many times we think about regulating our nerve systems, and people mistake regulating, like having a regulated nerve system, with having a calm nerve system. Well, because we're so stressed, anxious, in pain most of the time, we think we just need to calm ourselves. We need to get out of those stressful situations, and that will be a regulated nerve system. But really, a regulated nerve system is really a resourced nerve system, a nerve system that has the ability, the bandwidth, the capacity to be able to meet the day and actually thrive through it and not cower and get stuck. So as you meet challenges, as you meet threats, as you meet triggers throughout your day, or anything that could come up in your experience, your nervous system is resourced to be able to meet that and be in the experience and not run away. So we want to reframe our ability, or we want to reframe our context for challenge and stress. So we want to do challenging things deliberately. One of my favorite things, if not my favorite thing over the past 4 to 5 to 6 months, has been deliberate cold exposure. The deliberate cold exposure is exactly like it sounds. For me, it's at home. I've got a little tub that I get into that's anywhere between 35 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Very, very cold. So the idea is you go in, that you regulate your nerves, you regulate your breathing, because it's really, really hard. There's never been one day over the past 120 or so days that I've been doing it that I've actually wanted to get in. The shock when you get in is just puts you into fight or flight. So really, you're in that moment, you're trying to regulate your breathing, you're trying to calm your nervous system, you're trying to calm your body to try to be with the experience and not do what is really what you want to do, is just to get out. I recently did another video, which I'll link here, that will talk about all of the amazing health benefits, physiological health benefits that come from deliberate cold exposure. But for today, we're really talking about how it can affect the neuroplasticity of the brain. What you're doing is you're overriding your, I guess, the subconscious mind's or desire to just get out of that situation, get out of stress, go back into comfort. But what you're doing is you're teaching your brain, you're teaching your nerve system that it's okay, that you can thrive in the stress, that you can regulate your breathing. And all of a sudden what starts to happen, and what I've noticed, and what many of our clients notice as well, is that once you start to adapt to that, once you start to move through that and get into the situation where your breathing starts to come down, that your heart rate starts to come down, that you can start to apply that same principle, that same practice can have applications all throughout your life. All of a sudden, you've done something really, really hard. You've taught your brain, you've taught yourself that you can do hard things. So that the next thing that you do that's really hard, or the next thing that you want to do that you can perceive as hard, you think, oh, well, I actually can do that. I can do hard things. I can be calm in stressful situations. In stressful situations, you can learn to anchor peace, and really that builds resilience. You're rewiring the brain to be resilient. Number 2 is chiropractic adjustments. One of the things that most people think about when they think about adjustments is pain from my neck, I've got headaches, I've got low back, I've got shoulder problems, I've got posture problems, and chiropractic is great for that. But what we know is that the big benefit of those things for your body is actually how it begins to rewire the brain. What we know is that lack of joint movement, especially through the spine, can lead to a decrease in stimulation and sensation to the brain, which actually causes the brain to atrophy. So one of the things that chiropractic adjustments do is restore proper motion of the spine to allow proper signaling and proper stimulation of the brain. And so how do you know that it's doing that? So in our office, what we do in many offices around the world, we take a test, don't guess approach. We have sophisticated technology that allows us to monitor over time how adaptable your nerve system is becoming so that you can not only feel much better, but perform and function much better as well. Remember that nerves that fire together, wire together. So chiropractic adjustments really help that neuroplastic process of the brain to repair itself for health and longevity. Number 3 is having some sort of meaningful morning and or evening ritual or practice. More specifically, the practice of gratitude. In other videos, I go over my exact morning routine, my exact evening routine, the things that prime my nerve system for success throughout the day, that allow myself to rest at night and get up the next day and get on with it. But without going into the complexities of that practice, the number 1 practice to start with is having a gratitude practice. We have this thing within this part of our brain called the reticular activating system. It's a part of the brain that is monitoring and looking for things that are normal, things that are familiar to us. I mean, especially when we were back in hunter-gatherer days, it was really important that we understood where we were, understood our surroundings, understood all those things for our own safety. Now it's becoming less of for our safety, but it allows us to know the familiar. Imagine you're in the airport and there's lots of people around, lots of noise, and the loudspeakers are going, you can hardly hear, you can hardly understand what's going on, and all of a sudden you hear the sound of your own name. Now, that wasn't any different than any other sounds, but your brain your reticular activating system is trained to look for what is familiar, to hear your name, to spot what is familiar in your environment. Just like if you were to look at a group picture that you're in, the first thing that you'll always instinctively do is search for yourself. A really simple but powerful gratitude practice that I practice every day is what's called the 5-minute journal. So you answer 3 questions in the morning and 2 questions in the evening, and that's it. So what am I thankful for today? Like, what can I be thankful for today? Number 2 is what is going to make today great? And number 3 is an affirmation. So I am fill in the blank. And so what you're really doing is you're training your brain to look for things that you're grateful for. And when that practice, you anchor that practice in the morning, and also you review it at night. There's 2 other questions at night that you answer. You're just really activating, you're priming your nerve system, priming your brain to have gratitude. And it's very, very difficult to be in stress and in gratitude at the same time. It's next to impossible to be in growth and in survival at the same time. So you're really training your mind, you're training your brain to look for the things that you're grateful for, to look for the things that are going great in your life. And in so doing, you're training your brain, you're training your nerve system, you're training your body to be able to handle whatever comes up. Not only just handle whatever comes up, but actually move through and thrive through whatever's happening in your life. Because we are not going to escape stress. We are not going to escape trauma. We are not going to escape accidents. We're not going to escape injuries. All of us at some point or another are going to have to go through things that are challenging. And better to be trained in those challenging times to be able to meet the time with success. So what's something challenging that you could do today? Just choose something that you kind of don't want to do, but you know would be good for you, and just do it. And leave a comment below as to what the experience was like and what you learned from it. I'd love to hear. And if you haven't been back to the chiropractor for a little bit, or if you haven't ever been before, this is your sign. If you're having a hard time thinking about something that you're grateful for, think about what could you be grateful for? If you were grateful, what could you be grateful for? And have a look at these videos here where I go over some other strategies to be able to not only maximize that neuroplasticity in your brain, to heal your body, to repair your body so you can thrive through the day, but just have an awesome, awesome life. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.